Hello third graders, this is Miss Croghan and today we are going to learn about line plots. In today's lesson, you will be able to create and interpret a line plot with a given chart of data. So today we're going to look over some charts, and with using the data we are going to create line plots. Alright, so this is the first graph we look at today. And the graph is going to show us number of pets and number of students. So the first thing we need to figure out is what do we need to put on the x-axis? And it's pretty easy. What we're looking at is the number of pets. So that will go on our x-axis. And we'll label it pets. Next, we're going to start by making our line plot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we will start graphing our points. 5 students have 1 pet. 6 students have 2 pets, 3 students have 3 pets, 1 student has 4 pets, 2 students have 5 pets, and 4 students have 6 pets. Okay, here's a more standard plot. And as you can see, it is the same data that we just seen before. So we need to start by labeling our x-axis. And as we saw before, it was pets, number of pets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6 all are the number of pets, and the dots indicate how many students have that number of pets. Next, we need to give our graph a title. So number of pets each student has. Okay? We'll change it a different color so it's easier to see. Alright. And then we also have our key already done. So we now have everything that's needed. So we've compared 2 charts. We had a data chart, and now we made it into a line plot. We defined our x-axis. We included a key, and we also have our title. Okay, now here's just a quick line plot checklist. So you need, for sure, your x-axis, which is always labeled. Your y-axis is not labeled, but it's just the number of x's, dots, items that you'll have above each number on the x-axis. It's not like a normal graph where you have an x-axis and a y-axis. We need our title, we need our key, and we need the chart of data that we will be using to construct our line plot. One of the hardest things for students to understand is what number goes on the x-axis. Do we want the number of pets or the number of students? When you have 2 numbers, it often gets tricky. The easiest way to figure it out is see what numbers are set or in order. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's use this for example. We're doing the temp in January. So the temp would be 1 box, and the number of days would be another one. And for example, we had 31 in that month, 45, 42, 29, and 17. And 3 days it was 31, 1 day it was 45, 1 day it was 42, 5 days it was 29, and 6 days it was 17. So as you can see, our temperature is what we're graphing. So whatever you're graphing needs to be on the x-axis. So we would put it down here. But as we said before, it needs to go in numeric value. So you have to start at your lowest one. So you have to start at 17, and you have to get all the way to 45. So we'd start, and you'd go 18, 19, 20, so forth and so forth until you get to 45. So the wider range of numbers, the longer your number line's going to be, or your line plot. Okay, so let's do a little practice and create our own. So the question is, how many students measured 1/2 to 3 inches? So any number between 1/2 and 3 inches needs to be graphed on our line plot. So first off, let's look at the data. We have 14 students, and the first student has a 4th. Does a 4th come between 1/2 and 3 inches? No. So student 1 will not be on our graph. Does 3/4? Yes. So that's a keep. An inch? Yes. 3 1/2? Nope, too large. Student 5 is 4 inches. Too large. Student 6 is 1/2 inch, just perfect. Student 7 is 3/4, perfect. Student 8 is 2 1/2 inches, good. Student 9 is 1/2, good. Student 10 is 1 1/4, good. Student 11 is 3 inches, that's still good. And then we have a 2 1/2, 3 inch, and 2 1/2. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 students that we are going to graph. Okay, so now we have our line plot, and we started at 1/2 and went to 3, as we saw in the last slide. And now we are going to plot our data. So we have 1 at 3/4, 1 at 1, 1 at 1/2, another 1 at 3/4, 2 1/2, another 1/2, 1 1/4, a 3, a 2 1/2 again, another 3, and another 2 1/2. Okay, now we need to give it a title. Amounts, students measured, and our key, 1x equals a student. And we need to label our x-axis, and that is inches. And we have completed our line plot. Okay, our first step of reviewing is we need to review data chart, define the x-axis, plot data, create the key, and last but not least, create the title. If you have completed these 5 steps, you have successfully graphed a line plot.